Ready for a thrill? Today, we're showcasing the top 10 custom cars by the legendary Chip Foose. From timeless classics to cutting-edge creations, each car is a masterpiece of design and craftsmanship. Stick around to see which beauty takes the #1 spot. Like and subscribe if you love cars. 10. 1972 Lotus Europa. For many years, John Nivens delivered soda to Burbank, California's Big Dog Garage, home of Jay Leno. He owned a rough 1972 Lotus Europa that he couldn't afford to refurbish because he was attempting to pay for his kids' college education. Since Nivens was nominated by the genuinely nice Jay Leno for Chip Foose's show Overhauling, the automobile was stolen and rebuilt as a custom original. Chip made the 1972 Lotus Europa lighter by removing 4 inches from the front end and adding side vents and a dropped hood a la GT40. The Lotus Europa had a fiberglass shell. Chip also got Lotus to provide a 217 horsepower Elise engine to give it a little more kick because they came with tiny Renault 1.6-liter inline 4s. A unique green emphasis on the racing stripes was part of the whole Restomod, a reference to Nivens' previous employment as a 7-Up delivery man. 9. 0032 Roadster. Granted that Chip Foose built the 32 Roadster twice, the 0032 inches is arguably the most important custom build he has ever completed. The vehicle was first constructed as the yellow Boydster 2 inches during Chip's tenure as the president of Hot Rods by Boyd. Although it won the title of America's Most Beautiful Roadster in 1996, a collector who later came to buy it felt it was somewhat more exquisite. Chuck Svatos, the collector, took the Roadster to Foose with the intention of having it restyled in black. Chip did that and added a detachable top, new wheels, and a new interior. As a result, in 2000 it was awarded America's Most Beautiful Roadster once more. Years later, the collector gave Foose the 0032 in return for a bespoke paint job on a 32 Ford with 3 windows. Afterward, Chip sold the vehicle to the Peterson Automotive Museum and utilized the proceeds to purchase the structure that houses Foose Design headquarters. 8. Mach Foose. One of the more striking Mustang body designs was the 1971 Mach 1 Sports Roof Fastback, but Chip Foose managed to make it even more awesome. He extended the wheelbase of a 2010 Mustang GT by 3 inches by dropping a 71 body on top of it. To make room for wider wheels, he replaced the rear quarter panels with ones from a 1970 Mustang, increasing the car's breadth. To get the Foose look, he created a new grille and back fascia. A 400 horsepower Ford 5-liter V8 Coyote engine powers the vehicle, surpassing the 335 horsepower 428 Super Cobra jet option on the 1971 Mach 1. With unique custom billet, Shelby Racing-inspired wheels, and Mach 1-style racing stripes and graphics, Foose completed his interpretation of the pony car, creating a very sleek vehicle. Subscribe if you love cars built by Chip Foose. 7. 1974 Jaguar E-Type. Chip created this gentleman's roadster in an attempt to respond to the question of whether it's possible to Foose up a 1974 E-Type without losing that iconic Jaguar aesthetic. Chip worked for 2.5 years enlarging the hood, lengthening the rocker panels, and creating new body details to create the perfect combination of power and elegance in a characteristic Foose style for a customer. The greatest criticism leveled towards Jaguars is that they are mechanically fickle, a polite way of saying that they are untrustworthy. In response, Chip decided to replace the Jaguar's V12 engine with a 6.2-liter, 525 horsepower Chevy V8, mated to a GM 4L60E 4-speed automatic gearbox. With leather seats, analog gauges, and a steering wheel with a wood rim that pays homage to vintage Jaguars, the interior was designed with the ultimate in luxury. The car was revealed at the 2019 SEMA exhibition because it turned out so well. 6. 1956 Chevy Bel Air. For-profit Wyotech provided career training in a range of fields, including automobile design and maintenance. The late great Jessie Combs, the world's fastest woman and former Mythbuster, is a notable graduate. However, several of the schools were closed down for effectively taking advantage of the students. Chip Foose collaborated with more than 30 Wyotech students to construct an extremely impressive 1956 Chevy Bel Air before they were 86ed. This Chevy was stolen from the guy who runs a foundation to obtain cars for Wyotech and transformed into a two-door speedster on one of the more memorable episodes of overhauling. The lowered convertible Bel Air is one of the most significant overhauling projects ever completed, according to Barrett Jackson, who ultimately sold the car at auction. Chip, on the other hand, calls it the A-Team's finest hour and regards it as one of his favorite builds. 5. Terracotta. In general, a watch is an accessory, but in this instance, the car became the accessory. When Darren Metropolis entered Foose Design, he asked Chip if it was possible to create an automobile that complemented the brown and gold tones of his Breitling watch. Chip, of course, took up the challenge and set to work transforming a 1970 Plymouth Barracuda into a unique muscle vehicle. He began by constructing a unique frame, after which he modified and stretched the body to create the Terracotta. A genuine Mopar 6.4-liter Hemi Vibe 8 was put beneath a custom-built hood. It was obviously not intended to be a family vehicle. The interior was completely covered with Italian leather, and it was made into a two-seater Ford P32. After World War II, veterans returned home and began using their expertise in operating military equipment to modify race cars. Hot rodding really took off. A combat pilot would create the P32, according to Chip Foose, if he missed his old fighter jet. Foose started with a reproduction Brookville body and a 32 Ford, which he lowered and added a bespoke propeller cap-style nosepiece. The flathead Lincoln 512 belches out via exposed manifold tips, much like a Curtiss P40 Warhawk, but without any kind of exhaust system. The seats are taken from an actual Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress, which really drives home the aviation concept. The P-32 is not only a tribute to vintage military planes, but also to rat rods. Given that it is a part of Foose's permanent collection, the bomber rod must hold significant meaning for him. 3. 1956 Ford F-100. The 1956 Ford F-100 was designed by Chip Foose, although Chip did not construct it out of all the builds he completed. Before using it as his regular car in high school, Chip spent years restoring the truck he had purchased when he was just 13 years old. He sketched up some ideas for how he wanted to personalize it, but he was always too busy to give it priority. During an episode of Overhaulin' in 2005, Foose Sr. stole the car, and a group of builders transformed it into the vehicle Chip had always imagined as a child, using Chip's original plans as a guide. The truck was modified by chopping it down, widening it, and adding a 451 Roush NASCAR race engine. When Chip first laid eyes on the 56 F-100 during the 2005 SEMA, he broke down in tears. Chip Foose drives the bespoke Ford pickup on a daily basis once more. 2. Lil Foose Coupe. Recall the collector Chuck Svatos, who gave Chip Foose the 0032 in return for a special paint job on a 32 Ford with 3 windows? This is the bespoke job then. The car made a couple cameos on the Fox sitcom Titus and was initially painted primer black with flames. Chip cut the top and performed considerable fabrication work on the roll pan, hood, cowl, and fenders. Following a black paint job and a custom leather inside, the once popular TV show vehicle was transformed into a fully fendered 32 Ford, which was given the moniker Lil Foose Coupe. This build is unique since it deviates slightly from Foose's regular style, which is more of a classic hot rod. This stunning bespoke coupe yet retains the essence of a Chip Foose vehicle. 1. Hemisphere. Chip Foose took part in a Chrysler-sponsored project to build a car for a niche market while he was a senior at the Art Center College of Build in Pasadena, California. His creation, now dubbed the Hemisphere Roadster in 1:5 scale, was published in Hot Rod magazine and used as the model for the Plymouth Prowler. After graduating from college, Chip began constructing a full-size frame, but he was never able to finish it due to a lack of funds or time. Chip and RC2 Corp struck a die-cast toy partnership in 2005 that includes funding for the construction of the Hemisphere. The Hemisphere Roadster, which is distinctively Foose, pays homage to the venerable display drag vehicle Hemi Underglass by featuring a 6.4-liter Hemi engine in the back that is visible through the rear glass. Chip made a total of 5 of these awesome vehicles and considers them to be the most consequential things he's ever designed and built. Thanks for joining us on this journey through Chip Foose's incredible custom cars. Do not forget to subscribe and leave like a if you enjoyed the video. Here are 10 jaw-dropping muscle cars, chase films of all time. Click through to our next video to find out. You won't want to miss this.